was at ALA, so that's why the prior episode was delayed. But I had a fun time there. Always good to go. Can't wait for next year. Especially, right, ALA's the party con. And next year, ALA's turning 21.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it better be a big year, is all I'm saying.
So tell me about all the interesting panels that you went to on ALA.
I went to a Robotech one. It didn't even hit my radar that it's the 40th anniversary of Robotech this year.
Damn, big fan.
Yeah. They actually had a lot of panels, a lot of voice actors from Robotech, which was interesting because one of the guests for the con, I forget his name, but he worked on Megazone 23, and I think it's Genesis Frontiers, the English name, like Mosspedia. And I bring that up because that anime was one of the licensed animes that they used for Robotech. So I was like, oh, I wonder how he feels knowing that like they're doing Robotech panels here. Because I know like some Macross people aren't fans of Robotech because of what Robotech is. I went to the Cosplay Wrestling Federation panel. They did 2 of them. I went to the first one because my friend was in it. And that was just fun, man. Like, they don't do real wrestling. It's just all shit talking. But it was just hype. Like, it's 10 years. All the story arcs are just building up. They were teasing, like, returning cast members. It was fun. Like, the crowd was in it to win it, man.
Did you have a personal favorite?
Yeah, it was funny. Like, it wasn't the best one, but the funniest one was American Goku from Dragon Ball Evolution showed up. And it was pretty funny. And surprisingly, his opponent, or opponents, I should say, was a guest, was a celebrity guest, you can say. It was none other than Team 4-Star.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, they weren't there physically. It was all, like, pre-recorded stuff. Yeah, like I guess like Takahara does like VTuber stuff now. So he showed up and he brought in like Nappa, Dende, Cell. Like it was pretty cool.
That sounds fucking wild, man. That sounds like a super great time.
Yeah, like the character team ups were funny. Like my buddy was Virgil for DMC5. He teamed up with Shadow.
Fuck yeah.
And then they went against Dr. Robotnik, specifically Jim Carrey's version from the movies. And he teamed up with Doofenshmirtz.
That's the ultimate evil right there.
Yeah, it was good. There was, gosh, I'm forgetting some of the other team ups, but there was the guy that was Robotnik. He came back as 4Kids, and so he was just wearing a suit with like the 4Kids logo and like was holding like an onigiri, talking about donuts and stuff. My friend told me about it last year, but they were teasing who the next big person is going to show up, like character-wise, and it's going to be Sam Lake for Alan Wake 2 specifically. And it's like, oh, that's going to be a crazy concept. Yeah, they're really cool, man. They go to a bunch of cons. Like, they had the champ from the Pacific Northwest tour to show up and, like, defending their title and stuff. I recommend checking them out. They're on YouTube, so they have past streams and videos of whatever they could record or stream at the time. So if you want to catch up on all the wrestling lore for Cosplay Wrestling Federation, it's all right there.
Oh, it looks like they just uploaded 9 hours ago.
Nice, yeah. Yeah, they did 2 nights, and like each panel was like 2.5 hours each. Oh, you know what? I did do another panel there. My friend was also participated in it. It was the AMV competition.
Hell yeah.
That's what's up.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm here to support, shouldn't be that bad. They gave us a little ballot to vote to see. He ended up winning, which was pretty cool. There was like a bunch of different categories, and there was like 5 or 6 AMVs per category. He was using Perfect Blue, the movie, and it was an AMV for the trailer for The Substance.
Isn't that Paul Walker and Jessica
awesome.
Alba? Perfect Blue?
Perfect Blue is an anime.
You're close. I know what you're talking about. I think it is called Perfect Blue.
You're talking about that live action movie. You're talking about anime. I'm sorry.
I'm talking about the anime movie Perfect Blue, which is amazing.
Yeah, no, a good catch though.
Dude, I'm so sorry.
That was a great catch.
No, the Paul Walker movie you're thinking of is if it wants to pop up on this, it's
Into the Blue.
Into the Blue. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah. And I was like, Jessica Alba, right? I was like, yeah. My bad, dude.
If you haven't seen Perfect Blue, highly recommend. Very good movie. It's a psychological kind of film. One and only Satoshi Kon He does a bunch of stuff like Paprika and like just so many other great movies. But yeah, that panel also ended up being, I think it ended up being like 3 hours of just sitting there watching AMVs.
So like high school all over again.
Yeah.
Just before you get started, I always felt like the most iconic AMVs, like the ones you'll always remember, have to revolve around all of like the Naruto Sasuke fights, like the one before Shippuden.
Oh, back in the old YouTube era.
Man, what a time to be alive, bro. This is back before YouTube poops.
I will say, like, the AMVs here, like, there were some pretty good ones. I don't know, maybe because, like, I've made some AMVs, right? They're on my Insta and YouTube. Like, the way I like to do it is I'll add some of the audio from, like, the clips I have in there. Like, just to make it more depth to it, I guess. More texture.
Immersive.
And, like, you know, like, most AMVs don't do that. But, like, here I was like, oh, man, like, there's, like, so many moments you could add stuff. But that's just me. Maybe next year I'll submit some.
I always think the more well done ones are the ones that start with the cutscene. They don't have any music playing. Like, you'll just see the cutscene play out and you'll hear the two characters talk. And then right before the action breaks, like, you'll start hearing, like, a tempo beat up or whatever. You know? And then, like, all of a sudden just hell breaks loose and the whole fucking beat drops. Or, like, the song starts, you know?
Yeah.
Like that, I always thought that shit is great taste. Very, you know?
There was 6 categories. There was the trailer, drama theater, fun upbeat, sentimental feels, rhythm vibes, action adventure, and then comedy humor. Now, the one in comedy humor, the first submission, which was my favorite out of the category, was called Golden Dreams. And the reason I mentioned your name, Gerry, that you'll like this is because it is I've got a dream from Tangled, but it's using Golden Kamui.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And let me tell you, man, that was really good. Everything just fits so perfectly with all the characters' personalities using, because like that song, it's a bunch of different, you know, it's like I Got a Man, and so like it's just the whole Golden Kamui cast explaining their dreams. It was so funny.
I'm gonna start watching that show this year. You guys make it sound so fucking cool.
Read it. It's so good, man.
Yeah, you should read it. All I remember from the anime is season 1 with the CG wolf and bear. I don't know if you remember watching that episode, Gerry, but
The
it
wolf
was
and
like
bear. I don't know.
when they like in the beginning, like before like they actually start their adventure or whatever, those animals are CG, but they're 2 different types of low quality CG. It was so funny.
Can I do both?
Yeah, you can do both.
You could probably do all 3 because there's the live action movies. I think it was on the Legacy episodes when they announced they're going to do a live action series for it, and they're using the cast from the movie.
Oh, that's rad.
Yeah, and I believe it's just picking up where the movies left off.
You say, okay, did the movies get good reception?
I don't know. I want to say yes. I'm just assuming they're as good as the Rurouni Kenshin live actions.
Fuck yeah, I'll check it out, dude. Oh, that also reminds me. I know that you guys aren't really like really up to speed on manga aside from One Piece, but Sakamoto Days I think finally just released the anime.
I saw a snippet of the first episode. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I saw the clip of like the first fight in the Family Mart or whatever he's running, and I just thought it was funny because I saw it on Twitter, so you already know the discourse is going to be stupid. Man, anime fans are just brain rotted by such high quality anime these days. They don't understand what a decent one looks like.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, man, this looks like trash, blah, blah, blah. And everyone's just like, it looks fine. Like, what are you talking about? It's just, sure, it doesn't look like One Piece or like Bleach, but like, yeah, it's a pretty solid anime. Like, what do you expect? Over the top flashes? Like, this is a family man. This is a father fighting assassins.
All in all, I just feel like we still got plenty of time to see the rest of the show play out, and all that good stuff is going to be really, really key, I think, when it all comes together. By the end of it, you know, people are going to be asking for more, because that's like the whole thing. Everybody has to shit on everything when it comes out, and then by the end of it, they're just always asking for more.
Yeah, I thought you were going to mention the other thing that's happening with Jump. It might be already by the time this episode airs, or if not the week after, but Undead Unluck is going to end.
I did not see that.
I think it was the French translation someone pulled of the Shonen Jump magazine, and it mentioned that next chapter for Undead Unluck is going to be the final one.
Is that a sudden ending? Does that mean it was canceled?
No, from what I understand, it's been like building up the final arc. I still haven't caught up to it. I'm still only like 60 something chapters in, but I really want to get back. It's a good manga. But yeah, so yeah, talking about manga and stuff, like you're saying, like you want to get into Golden Kamuy, you're looking at that. There was a couple Spy Family AMVs that were at this competition, and I was like, fine, the reread's calling. Instead of just trying to catch up where I left off, I'm just gonna reread it. So I've been rereading Spy Family. I'm pretty far in. I think I'm like chapter 70 already.
Is it over?
No, it's not over. So I got spoiled for a big reveal recently. Oof. And then I found out that reveal was fake, and there was a different reveal, so I got spoiled twice.
Dude, fun. That's so fun.
But you know what's funny is that the fake reveal, I was like, oh, that makes total sense, dude. I could totally see that happening because that's just what this series is. It just can be wacky out of nowhere. But it's still been a good time. My main gripe with the series has always been it's 2 chapters a month, and sometimes the mangaka will just do a special illustration, so then it'll just be 1 chapter for the month, and that's kind of disappointing. And then I'm like, maybe it'll be better if you just binge it. And it kind of is, but the other problem arises when it's like, I want the plot to move forward, but now it's just a bunch of mundane stuff I'm not particularly invested in with the series. And like they're pretty dense chapters. It's a lot of dialogue, so it might be off-putting for people. No, yeah, still enjoying it. I can't wait to catch back up and see what I've been missing out on.
Dialogue heavy scares me.
Yeah, that's why I'm not catching up to Hunter x Hunter.
Speaking of Hunter x Hunter, I have been seeing more and more clips of Hunter x Hunter, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of really willing to invest the time into watching or reading that. I mean, really, realistically, I want to watch it. As long as that show may be like, I just really want to see like all of those really cool fucking scenes that I've just been watching the clips of, kind of just leading up to the very end with Gon, because I've seen that part. Obviously, I'm just jumping the gun there, and I want to like see the whole thing from start to finish, right? And then I feel like I can really decide if I want to continue on and see how it goes with this new main character and what's going on with that.
I love that feeling. I love what you're doing. I do that a lot with a series that I want to get into. Like if there's a spoiler, like a big spoiler, I kind of want to see how we get to that point more so than that actual point.
Yeah, that's pretty much a good gist of what it is.
If the spoiler's so good, I have to get into the series.
Right, exactly. You're just like, just let me find out how I got there, man. That's all I'm asking, right? Yeah, it was pretty enticing to get to that point. But yeah, but aside from that, I just think it's it's pretty cool to do that. I feel like I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but I feel like it might be the same thing with the Mistborn thing. Like I kind of want to know more enough to where I'm just gonna be like, okay, like here's what I need to buckle down just so I can get to this point, because I know that there's a lot, but I don't know. I kind of like struggle kind of getting there. I'm not really entirely in the like, I guess the mindset where I'm just reading pretty much every day. It's just kind of like an on and off kind of thing. But it's a good, I would say it's almost close to a similar feeling, just from what I hear you guys talk about every now and then. And I know it's still like leagues away, because technically it's like different planets and stuff like that. But it's still like, I guess it's just like a feeling of wanting to catch up. It's almost as like if you guys are like already in the 2-year arc of One Piece, and I just started One Piece. That's pretty much how I feel. You guys are already talking about hockey and armaments, and Zoro's already like, oh, what's going on with my fucking swords? And I'm just like, oh man, that's really cool. I really want to get to where you're at right now. You know what I mean? Like that's that same feeling. I get so excited while I'm watching the One Piece show with my wife, and at this point we're just now finishing Alabasta. So by this point, Luffy knocked the stuffing out of Crocodile. He's like already through all the bedrock in the city, and he's just laying on the ground unconscious, waiting to be arrested. I just get so excited because like there are all of these points like Karina's pointing out, and I can't like say too much, but I just really appreciate how far Oda has gone, like the lengths he's gone to cover almost all of the loopholes at this point by how far One Piece is. So like, for example, she was talking about Crocodile like absorbing water. Even in the English dub, they'll get into detail about how the sand sandfruit will let him absorb moisture. That's what he says, like verbatim. And she's like, "Where does it all go?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "It's just got to go somewhere, right? Like it doesn't just he doesn't just suck it up and nothing happens to it. And I had to think really hard, and I'll be like, I really don't want to tell her about Impel Down. Like, I don't want to have to get into this right now. And I just had to be like, I just looked at her and I'll just be like, that part doesn't matter right now. Like, don't think about him as a water balloon. Like, that part's not important. There's a couple of different points like that, but yeah, man, I'm just really glad that, like, I feel like now I'm finally getting to, like, relive the best part of my childhood, which is, like, going through One Piece. Fuck it, dude, I'll say it. One Piece is the best part of my childhood. I love it so much.
To go back on the Hunter x Hunter part, yeah, you could do either or, pretty much watch it or read it. I believe the 2013 anime is the general consensus is that it's the way to go, because like the 90s ones I think is slower pace, and I believe it doesn't go as far as the current one. And then if you do read it, it is a good time to read now, because when I first read it at the Chimera Ant arc, that's when he was just throwing up his chicken scratch, and I was like, dude, this is fucking awful, bro. Like, why are we reading this like this? But apparently, like, or he did go back eventually and like fix up the art, and it does look pretty good. So yeah, you could kind of go either or. And then I believe people are saying like there was reports of the anime being trademarked again, so they might do the dark continent stuff soon. So we'll see.
We'll have to see though. Shit, I know this is kind of like going far back a bit, but I didn't put it in the fucking Discord, but I heard that Toei is suing Crunchyroll. I think Toei and Funimation are actually both suing Crunchyroll. And I think they said it was something because like Crunchyroll wasn't promoting their brands, their marketing, and their shows correctly. So like basically they weren't promoting One Piece the way that they should have, for example.
Yeah, I kind of remember people pointing that out, of saying like, oh, specific animes aren't being highlighted on the front page. And that could just be due to the fact that like it's not an exclusive to Crunchyroll, so therefore like they rather promote their exclusive stuff more.
Yeah, I think that sounds familiar. Have you started Daima?
You know what? It's yeah, episode 1 is out. I think it's up to 3 now. I don't know. I'm kind of like that's what I was waiting for, right? So that way I could just get the English voices. But I was talking to my buddy at the con about Daima, because like I just see them argue all the time in our group chat about it. But I'm gonna be honest, man. Like the way he was breaking down like how the plot is and what they're doing in that series, I'm like, I'm kind of okay. Like it doesn't sound like it's worth my time.
I think that you, for the most part, wouldn't really care about the way that it's playing out. Dragon Ball is just replaying, but with more people. Goku is still that much wiser, but not as bright as he was when he was a child. Like, it's really not that different. So, like, there are things that he does that are, of course, like, leading to them to get in trouble. Like, if they're trying to be, like, covalent and, like, trying to go around people, and, like, Goku sees somebody get slapped, or like a kid's ice cream gets knocked out of its hand, he's like, nah, fuck that, and then everything gets ruined, and then everything has to start over. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like it's still the same bullshit, and it hasn't really changed in any aspect. There hasn't been any really cool part of this series that I have really, like, me personally, have really been drawn to. Okay, the most out-of-pocket thing by far that they would have tried to have used to like get your attention is after they defeated Majin Buu, they had like pieces of Majin Buu that I guess that they kept, and so there's this demon who happens to be the Supreme Kai's sister, and she's trying to make Majin Buus. She ends up making 2 Majin Buus, and she wants to basically control them, like how what was his name? Babidi, right? Dude, it's really a bunch of bullshit. I'm telling you. Like, I know that it's been a long-winded from what I'm saying so far, but I'm just telling you, it's not any better than what it was before. Like, Dragon Ball Z was the precipice of how good it was, and then after that, it's just like, okay, I don't really know why I keep watching it though. I just really don't have anything better to do with my time, I guess.
That's usually how it goes.
And I saw the Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. Everybody was flipping out, and I'm just like, it just looks stupid. I don't know. And the big problem is, like, it's just Beast Gohan 2. Like, that's all it is. Yeah, it's cool. At least, like, Vegeta's Super Saiyan 3 is different from, you know, the others. But I'm like, but we already have a general idea of what Super Saiyan 3 is. Like, there's no point in really changing it. I'll only be all in if we get Super Saiyan 4. And whatever this cool new fusion is, that's probably going to happen. Like, I'll check it out.
Yeah, like I said, I don't blame you. Yeah, at this point, I'm just Again, I don't really know if I'll give it the time to really finish it all the way, especially if it's just going to end at 20 anyway. I don't really think that'll make a big difference. There were just like a lot of plot holes, I guess, that I thought of really early, and I didn't really see it get fleshed out, so I didn't really think about it or care enough to like want to continue. One of the things that I noticed at first was everybody got affected, but Gohan wasn't involved. Like, Gohan's not in.
Yeah, that's another weird thing, yeah.
At least so far from what I've seen. I'm kind of curious, though, because, you know, like, I guess my question for you, Danny, is, like, what do you consider, like, a good piece of work that you feel like is a good example for, like, people who don't have to put in, like, a high budget into animation and still things, like, work out? Like, it's still, like, great, you know, like a great show, or it's, like, a great animation. Like, it looks nice, basically. As, like, a recent example, or, like...
I mean, I guess, like, Sakamoto days, since, you know, everyone's just like, wow, this looks like shit, when actually it doesn't, because... It doesn't need to be that high budget. Like all the big shonen animes all look like a freaking anime movie. You know, that's just off-putting to me. It's like, well, that's supposed to be safe for like the movies, like for something like spectacular. Like, sure, like we get the high budget scenes in arcs when it's supposed to happen, but when it's like when it feels like that all the time, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like, you just lose something, I think, when you're always like at that specific level. And also, like, you know, the burden with the anime studios, like the whole thing with season 2 of JJK was just a nightmare. Their budget was so abysmal, but they still had to make it like super high budget. It just was awful for the staff.
I guess it would depend on like what studios they're doing and what they decide to go with, because I feel like if everyone is used to using the same technology, then everything is just basically going to be churned out to be the same thing, right? I feel like, especially with a lot of shows that I've seen on Crunchyroll, like most of the shows that end up on the popular list, especially all of the isekai ones, they all do look the same. None of them look different, really, animation wise, or like have any, I guess, like special thing about them that stands out. And I also kind of think that I say like goes into, I guess, into the negative aspect of having all of these things and all of this technology available to you. That I think the point of having like an A studio or maybe even a B studio that like tries to do an animation in a different type of way, or at least tries to integrate a certain type of animation into their normal animation, that to me, like, that works, you know. But it's kind of here and there between, especially because like these days, as soon as you come out or do like a good project like that, then, you know, that studio gets absorbed by a bigger company. 1 to 2 projects later, they end up getting closed because they couldn't produce the same result like they could the first time. Just kind of like what you were saying earlier. It's kind of shit. Did any of you guys watch season 2 of Tower, like, to its entirety? I don't know if it's over yet.
No, I keep thinking of going back. It looks like it is over. It ended at episode 26.
Time to watch it.
And you know what? Like I freaking called it, man. That looks like the end of the workshop battle.
Okay. What's the next arc?
Fuck, what did we say that one episode?
Oh my god, I don't know.
I think they go on the Hell Train right after, don't they?
Yeah, because they don't go see Helljo until they're already on the Hell Train, right?
They start the Hell Train.
Yeah, they go to the hidden floor. That's what we were arguing about last time, because I keep confusing the hidden floor as something that happens like at the end and not like interim. Like, I always thought that they go to see Helljo before they get on the Hell Train and not during.
Yeah, so that arc is, they're on the Hell Train. They go through all the stuff in the Hell Train. They meet up with Yuri again. They stop at that station where they do the name hunt game, and that's where they get Wang Nan in there and stuff. Floor of Death happens, and then the hidden floor is right after that. And then, they do, the whole digital thing. They get to the last station where they get, I forget her name. And then that's it for Season 2. Hell Train to the end of Season 2 for the manga was still 200 chapters.
That one might be a 2-parter if they choose to animate it.
They're probably going to do a movie.
No, I don't think so. I don't think Tower's that big, anime-wise.
If it has to get that far, I don't think it'll get that far unless they give it one movie or so.
Yeah, but even though a lot of stuff are getting movies now, it's only for the huge stuff and mostly the Shonen Jump stuff.
I think I've seen Tower on some of the weekly rankings while they were still doing the season up until December. So it's not like it's not entirely out of the question, you know. They do the popularity by episode rankings, you know.
Yeah, but that's just like people watching it. The only discourse I've ever seen about season 2 of Tower is that it's just shitty because like bad animation, and that was only for like a few specific episodes, and like no one really talks about it after that. I would love to have like a Tower movie, like that would be pretty cool, but I don't know. I feel like it's very, very unlikely.
What would probably be unlikely if they did do the movie and then they have things stick to the manhwa 1-1. Like, they're obviously going to need to cut some things up and kind of probably revamp things a little bit, kind of how they did for the show. I don't think that they completely redid some parts. I think they just cut some parts out, and that's probably what they're going to do.
I think they could make Helljo into a movie.
That would be
Yeah,
really
they probably
cool.
could. I'm willing to bet they didn't cut anything out for season 2. So for 26 episodes, they covered 110 chapters, which isn't that bad. Because they covered 78 chapters for season 1, and they didn't cut anything out. They actually added an extra scene.
Didn't they cut out the whole thing with Bam making friends and then having to do some of the tests? It wasn't the first thing that they did, but it was up until the point where I think that they had to like get people to sign their names. I don't know if you remember something like that.
Oh, you're talking about like the Shinsu stuff for the contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
like,
I think if I remember that correctly.
No, they didn't cut anything out. Like they might have just shortened some stuff, but that's it. Because we went over the episodes here back when it was premiering, and like me, Gerry, and Adam, we reread season 1 while we were watching it, and from what I remember, yeah, like nothing was really cut out.
Oh, good shit. Well then,
So
yeah.
if there's a season 3, then there might actually be a movie, I feel. If it's popular enough to come back a third time with the third season, we might actually have a movie. But was season 2 entirely 26 episodes?
Yeah.
Dang, that's a lot. Yeah. So if it's another season like that comes out, I think it would hit that point.
Yeah, let's hope so, because it would suck for the anime to just end on that cliffhanger.
I feel like if Solo Leveling can get a fucking game in another season, then this can do it. This can do it well too.
I'm still waiting on Lookism, dude. I need the season 2. I
Oh,
need something gritty.
As long, I thought you were gonna say God of High School, and my heart was. about to
I'm
skip.
good.
I was like, dude, it's not
I'm
happening, dude. Lookism was on Netflix, man. I hope that they do better because I watched most of season 1 on Netflix, and I don't know, like it's still a lot of slice of life, obviously, because we're in the beginning. Like
people know like how fucking intense it can get and how good it can get. Like I've been looking at comments. Some people are asking if they want like or if they should read Lookism. There's a lot of Lookism hype.
I feel it, dude. If they can, especially like when we get to the end point, like the Hunt for Gun, things like that. Like I would want it to be top tier quality. Like they would have to pull budget for this if they knew what was good for them. They wanted those ratings to go up as far as they fucking could. Like that would be the time.
I mean, my big thing is they'll probably pick a different studio to do it just for the fact that like they have to change the art style. It can't be like that shoujo shit anymore.
I wouldn't mind a blend, at least for now, while they're still in. Well, honestly, wow, man. This whole time they're still in school. I just realized because I just caught up with the new chapter. They're still going to school. I forget that these are just children.
Yeah.
During the times they're not in school. Yeah, I guess maybe change the style. I don't know. Like I don't really have a good popular studio in mind to actually animate it.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'm just glad that the anime industry is still giving webtoons a chance. Some random like generic webtoon is getting an anime, and it's like, yeah, I'm sure that'll be popular because it's probably gonna hit that specific target audience, and that's great. It just leaves room for more stuff. Which is reminding me, I think it's coming out this year still. Terraman, it should be this year. Yeah, no release date yet, but yeah, Terraman I'm looking forward to that.
Did you already mention Bones? Did you hear about that one?
With Studio Bones?
No, not Studio Bones.
The
it's like a
webtoon?
webtoon, or it's like a manhwa. Everybody was born with superpowers, yada yada yada. This guy was getting bullied. Of course, they rank your superpowers in these kind of universes, but like he was getting bullied by like this S-class power guy who had the power basically of diamonds. Like he could manipulate diamonds, grow diamonds, things like that. The gist of it was he was harassing him. I think like killed his mom, encased him in like a coffin or a tomb of diamonds. The main character's own power was like produce a growth of his own bones. The manhwa is just basically like he is stuck in this diamond thing for like I don't know, like 10 or 15 years or whatever. So while this guy who bullied him is like living his best life while he murdered his mom and like all that other stuff and becoming like this top class like hero or whatever, this guy is like trying to get out of the tomb that he put him in. He basically turned him into his bones like become so hard he can start breaking diamonds. It's not a long series. Like it's only like 20 chapters or something like that. You know, so I don't really imagine like things like this like end up getting like a whole series, or if anything they'll like make a series just based off the idea alone and then keep going with it. Something like this I think would be worth like animating. Like it would be so cool just to see animated. You know, things like this are just so fucking awesome. There was a release of a hentai for Frieren.
What?
Okay, bear with me. With Stark and Fern. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the reason I bring this up is because one of the animators from Frieren did the animation for this hentai.
Oh,
okay.
The creator is Maple Star, but it was cool. That's all I'm going to say. You should check it out. But it was really good animation. And like it's funny too because at the end he gives credits. Really thank you, just thanks for watching the series. And I just thought that was so funny. I don't really know if he'll get into any shit for that.
expand your horizon.
Yeah, New Horizons. Well, that's one way to think about it. But I was going to say is like he really went about it with like a sense of optimism and like I guess enjoyment out of the fact that people like it so much and liked the animation so much that they're willing to do this. I don't know. Most people would just like navigate this into like a bad thing because obviously it's just porn. But in the abstract way of thinking about it, it's just a nod to the fact that like people just really like this show and people really like this character, especially. I think that he's playing off of that and he's just like, fuck it. You like it. I like it too. I'm all in. And that's really rad. That's what I like about it.
I haven't been doing much. Just been playing a lot of Tekken and Marvel Rivals. Every now and then I'm going back to that jank JRPG I've been playing, Eterno Blade. Once you get the right amount of upgrades for your combos, like it can start being fun again. And then I fought a boss to where like the main mechanic of the game doesn't work and you're like, this is stupid, and it was frustrating, and yeah.
Reading is hard, dude. Like, I realize how much content I get through when I'm listening to an audiobook and how much I retain it versus reading it. Like, I'm reading it, I'm retaining everything, but it's so fucking slow, dude. I wish I could read faster and then, like, the span of 15 minutes. I only get through, like, two pages. I gotta get back to work or move on to the other shit. I like Elantris a lot. It's gonna sound weird, but the size of the book is helping me like actually get into reading the book.
Oh, that's good.
I mean the physical size, like it's such a small book. I carry it around, open it up when I'm like sitting down and have like a minute or two to myself. Like I had jury duty the other day, and I was like just waiting, reading. I think I'm gonna stick to audiobooks just so that I don't feel like I'm being left behind.
I think like reading a book, it's just honestly like it's just a grind to get to a point to where you're comfortable and like you're at a much faster pace and stuff like that. When I read Eye of the World, it took me like a good while to go through it. Now at this point, I'm much faster. Like if I reread it, it would take me like maybe even half that time or something.
How much of it do you feel like you've retained
on the books? Like on physically reading?
Yes, and I'll tell you why after I hear your answer.
There's a point when I start a session that my brain farts and I forget where the last time I left off was until I I read a couple of sentences in and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what happened the previous time. But like right now, I can probably tell you back what's happening. Maybe omit like the latest part that I read just because I don't know. I remember the middle mostly. But like and the beginning, I guess. But like what I recently read, not really. It would take me like I would have to fucking like yammer on until I get to the point where I remember where I was.
You just get in your flow state where you start remembering shit.
Yeah, like I have to think about Elantris. I have to get into the mindset.
What about you, Danny?
I mean, it kind of honestly depends. Like it depends. Like the biggest thing is like how invested am I in what the chapters are about. Like, I can remember a good amount of stuff from Wheel of Time, but there is, like, those gaps where I'm like, I just really didn't care about what was happening in these books or in these chapters. Not even, like, 2 books go by, and I'm talking to a friend about it, and they bring up, like, well, but what about this scene? And I'm like, Oh yeah, I guess that did happen, huh? Like I just
Dude, honestly,
just left my
that was
mind.
Way of Kings. That was that was Way of Kings. Whenever Shallan came on, until like maybe around the middle part where I started kind of understanding where Shallan was going. In the beginning, I had no idea. I'm like, oh yeah, this person is a character.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's an example. Like, I didn't really care about her in the beginning of that book, and
Yeah.
and then she's gone for a long time because it focuses on the other main characters, and then it's now when she comes back, and then again, like, yeah, like, oh, I understand, like, what the shift Sanderson's giving her. I'm like, okay, now I'll pay more attention. Yeah, I pretty much just get like the main broad strokes of stuff. Like,
Do you write anything down?
no,
No, you just go off the dome. Like that's just from what you remember.
yeah,
Yeah, pretty much. That's all a story is, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, to its brass tacks, it's just something you remember reading or something. Yeah, somebody else said.
yeah. But again, like, I also read every day. Like, I read at work, and then I'll read at home. The only gaps I have is like if I go out of town and like just busy on those days, and then like I'll try to read a little bit before going to sleep and stuff. But
Do you set yourself a goal like I'll read an hour every day, or I'll read a certain amount of pages every day? It's like that's what I'm trying to do.
no, like I read on my breaks at work and on my lunch.
Yeah, it's normally when I can, when I have time.
That usually stacks up to about an hour of reading, and then if I'm in the middle of a chapter, I want to finish it by the end of the day, like before I go to sleep. Like when I have breakfast before I head out, like I'll try to at least finish that chapter.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, for me it's maybe like a chapter a day. But some days I do have off, I guess. Like I don't read at all. At least a chapter a day.
The reason why I bring up the question, I guess, just to bring it back to my own answer here, is just I feel like I do have these moments where you brought up originally, Daniel, where you're just like you do get invested into certain chapters where you can just kind of read off of it, and because you're so invested, like those are just kind of the things that you're going to pick up when you think back about some of the other pages, like your previous pages. I don't know, like I get so forgetful, you guys know. I get this like this fear, it's kind of a little deep rooted, where like I'm gonna get into the flow state that I can get where I'm at now. Like where I'm at now is kind of like the Ocean's 11 of like I really like I'm invested into the idea of what's going on for where I'm at, and I can like obviously I'm the one that's last here, so it's not spoiling anything. So like, you know, they're just getting done with the planning of or at least like putting the ideas on the board, right? Breaking down the big plan into smaller plans, right? I get into this flow state where it's not like so fantasy where they're completely separate and they're talking like with thouth and this and all that other stuff. It's still like at least within the fantasy where it's just operating under the guise of like these, you know, of course they're thieves. That's what they do. But again, it just brings me back to the whole Ocean 11 thing where they're just like, I read it and I feel like all the planning that they're doing, I'm like, I fuck with all of this.
That's a good comparison.
My fear here is that I get invested into these parts, but later on, because I'm forgetful, like these are important parts, or at least what I feel like are important as they break stuff down, especially the core plot. I just, again, the fear seeps in me where I get to like page 500 and then we're having a discussion about all of this. You know, I'm going to say something, one thing or another, and then it's just like, oh, Oscar, how are you totally forgetting about this part that happened in the book? This was such a pivotal moment.
That happens, dude. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of shit I missed in The Way of Kings. And even in Warbreaker, there's a couple of times where I feel like I kind of zoned out. And then I went back into, like, the audiobook. But at those moments, I kind of just take it at, like, face value. It is what it is. Like, I'll jump back into the conversation and based on context, like, realize what they're talking about. But there are some times where I'm like, I completely forget, like, a scene that they brought up before. So I have to, like, go back and find it. But that's tedious. So sometimes I just let it go, dude. Like, oh, yeah, they were talking about something important. I don't know what it is. We'll figure it out later. Or something like that. But, yeah, I feel like you're not alone in that. Especially with audiobooks, when you're just listening and then your mind just takes you somewhere else.
Yeah, that's the part that kind of gets me going. Like I was watching a Penguin Z video the other day. Penguin Z Zero.
Charlie.
I don't want to just say Charlie. Fuck it. I'm cool like that.
Critical.
Yeah.
Critical moist. Mr. White.
His other alias, Internet Jesus, But yeah, anyway, he was like having this like conversation, I think, with he was doing one of his live streams about how he has his cousin, his little cousin, who is an iPad kid, basically. He broke it down so clean for me, I couldn't help but feel embarrassed. He was basically explaining that it's almost impossible, well, quite literally impossible for his little cousin to do a task without having something in the background to distract him. And I don't know how many times I have personally said that myself, both off record and on this fucking podcast, about how like I just have to have something on in the background if I'm going to be playing a game or if I'm going to be like doing something, anything. And it just like, it really bothered the fuck out of me, man. Like, I swear to God, that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. So obviously I feel like just to me, I want to prepare myself for what I'm about to get into. Like, just to kind of tie it back into Mistborn, like I really want to get invested into the series, but I don't want to fucking forget. Like when we talk about One Piece, and you constantly fucking tell me when I forget or when I say something wrong that you have to edit out, and it bothers me. So then I have to tell myself I have to reread One Piece and take notes. So I guess it's just different for everybody, but I don't know. I'm just like, that was just my one big thing that I wanted to rant off about.
Yeah, I put stuff in the background sometimes when I read, but it'll mostly either be like I'll have a playlist on Spotify that I made for the books. Like when I read Jurassic Park, like I made a playlist, so it's like obviously Turok music, Dino Crisis music, that's in there. So that's just on shuffle, and I'm listening to that while reading. Or there's a lot of fans that made music for like the Cosmere, mostly like for like both Mistborn and Stormlight. So like I'll listen to that sometimes when I read Wave Kings, or I'll put on the Regulation podcast 8-hour 4K fireplace video.
Fuck yeah.
I'll have that in the background.
But don't you feel like sometimes you're going to be more invested into what the podcast is saying than what you're reading in the book?
Oh no, that it's literally just a loop of the fireplace, and like fireplace sounds are playing.
There's no conversation.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's highly rendered. 8 hours.
Yeah, and it's.
Can I say?
Go ahead.
That's a good idea of what you're doing. Like I also try to do the same thing. I started like adding OSTs of like Dark Souls and like all the other like RPGs that I would play as a kid. And
oh yeah,
I didn't know. I think you definitely mentioned that whole thing before about some music for Mistborn and the Cosmere. Is that on Spotify?
Yeah. There's albums on Spotify. There's like music, like themes for like characters like Kaladin and stuff for Stormlight. And then there's
that's what you mean. Sorry.
Yeah, and then there's...
Is it by a specific person, or is it just sort of playlist?
It's by that's the actual song. Like it's not like from anything else. It's like this was made for Stormlight and for Mistborn. It's not official or anything, but it's just like it's like fan stuff. And there's also like ambient Mistborn and Stormlight archive music.
I feel like it is somewhat of a positive when you have these types of songs on in the background. It makes me feel like it's like I'm more entranced in the scene. I don't know if entranced was the right word, but I feel like I'm more like, I guess, involved, like I'm in there.
When I was reading Wheel of Time, I was listening to Elden Ring a lot, and like when stuff started getting like intense and stuff, I'm like, oh, let me skip on the shuffle a couple until I get to the right song and that really fits the tone of the chapter.
Yeah, absolutely. There were a couple songs that I listened to when I kind of had the OSTs on shuffle, and I was like, oh yeah, this fits in a reasonable part,
Yeah,
I really want to find some real good in music. Like just some random fucking music that you would hear whenever they're at, because I feel like a lot of their time is just going to be spent doing the planning, or like if they're not like in the mist at night doing God knows what with their training, that they're just going to be like doing a lot of talking. And I just wanted to like kind of had some like a good, again, I just think of like Ocean's 11 and how they have like some jazzy montage music in the background while they're doing the planning, you know what I mean? So fucking good. I gotta watch Ocean's 11 now.
I've been wanting to rewatch that trilogy for a while too.
I'm gonna go back to the Cosmere. There's a whole Cosmere. The Cosmere series is on Spotify too, like the audiobooks.
Yeah, I think you have to
for free.
It's not for free. No,
You gotta be premium. You gotta do premium, and it's $15 a month.
I don't know if you guys have ever checked it out. It's on YouTube, the Bloodborne audiobook.
Oh, I might actually dig into
The
that.
Bloodborne audiobook.
Mm-hmm. It's not official, of course. It's like a fan. It's a fan thing. I think it's like 8 hours long. Yeah, the Pale Blood Hunt. Oh, it's only 5.5 hours.
I was going to ask you guys, because you are already on to the next series in the Sanderson epic. Out of the initial gang, I don't want you to give much away. I just kind of want to hear your opinion if you remember them. Out of the gang so far, I just need to know which one interests you guys the most.
I like Breeze the most.
I had a feeling one of you was going to say Breeze, honestly.
I think it might be time to get into the Warhammer series.
Oh.
If we're going down this route, I might as well go full send.
Now that is what you call an investment there, sir.
Yeah.
Just like Halo, I believe there's over 30 books for Warhammer, and that's not even all the lore, because you have to consider the games.
I know.
Too, I believe
the games, all the games. Sure, there's animation, right? Secret Level had an episode. Is that lore?
I mean, no,
I don't know,
those episodes at Secret Level was just to represent the IP specifically. So it's just like it's just a short story of something from Warhammer. So, Gerry, to get a scope of things here, there's the Horus Heresy arc for Warhammer. That has 54 books.
Oh.
And then after that was the Siege of Terra, which was only 10 books. And then the Primarchs of the House Heresy is a lot of short novels and anthology books. Holy shit, a shit ton of novellas. Oh wow, there's a lot of audio dramas too. That's pretty cool. With Warbreaker, how did you listen to it, right?
Yep. I listened to a different type of recording. What I did was I think it was called graphic audio.
Okay, yeah, the drama version.
Yeah, where they it's like they add the immersion.
Yeah, if you don't know, Oscar, some audiobooks have dramatization versions where it's actually a full cast and there's music and
pretty
stuff.
Good.
Yeah. There's a drama version for Elantris?
Oh fuck, that would have been cool to listen to.
Damn, that's kind of tempting.
I kind of liked it, man. It's like this watching a movie without fucking watching it, which is perfect for what I fucking do.
Yeah, so I'm almost done with it. I'm gonna finish it after this recording.
Damn,
I like it. I feel like I could tell that it's like one of his earlier books. It's not like you can just tell it's an early work compared to Stormlight stuff and all that. But it's fun. It's definitely political heavy. I guess I didn't really know what to expect about the book, but yeah, I like the cast. Rodin, however you pronounce his name, he's pretty cool, and his homie Galadon and all that.
Galadon's fucking awesome.
Yeah, he's the guy.
Yeah, he's the guy.
I'm very I'm very, very curious to see how this book's gonna end, because again, I'm reading the 10th anniversary edition of this book, right? So that means this book is over 10 years old. He has it planned, I believe, for next year. Elantris 2 is going to be coming out.
Electric Boogaloo?
How is it going to end, and where are we going to continue from there? That's the big question I have.
I don't know, man. This is his first book?
I don't think it's his first book, but it's one of his earliest books.
It says debuted with Elantris. In 2005, Brandon Sanderson debuted with Elantris.
His first book, cool.
So it's his first published book. If you
maybe not his first written one.
There's one of his videos on his channel where he talks about writing and how he got denied, I think, 3 times for a publication for his books. So he decided to just keep writing, and he wrote about 6 novels, and then he submitted Elantris, and that's what got picked up.
I just really want to power through a lot of this stuff so we can sit down with Adam. We can play this board game that he got. Well,
I don't think he has it yet. He just has the card game bonus that came with it.
Oh, okay. But I was gonna say that's Stormlight, right? It's
a Stormlight tabletop RPG primarily. But Adam being Adam, got picked like one of the highest tiers. So he got the Mistborn expansion for the board game, and that it also came with the Mistborn card game, I believe. And there's gonna be like Cosmere expansions, I believe. Could be mistaken, but like there's gonna be more Cosmere stuff there. But the base pack that you could get that would be cheap would be just for Stormlight. Oh damn! So we're not okay. Miss Elantris 2 probably won't come out till 2028. He's saying, Jesus.
That's cool. That's the same time GTA 6 come out.
Yeah, he wants to prioritize the future Mistborn books first.
This guy has a lot. Like he has a roadmap, dude. It's insane.
It is actually insane.
It does, man.
Yeah.
At least we'll have something to do after One Piece ends, or maybe this will end before One Piece. Who knows?
I don't know if there's gonna be anything else after One Piece. Did you guys catch up?
Yeah, I read.
Yeah,
what's today? Yeah, I didn't read whatever's coming out this week as we're recording, but yeah, I read the latest chapter.
1135 was 1136 is the latest chapter, I think.
You keep saying these numbers, dude.
Yeah,
but
I don't
we
look at
always
numbers.
I have to keep track somehow, dude.
We're not. Okay, yeah.
I'm trying to be better myself.
There's the new character reveal, right?
There's so many character reveals, dude.
But like, there's like specifically a new one with a character we know that I don't want to spoil if you guys didn't read it yet.
Hang on.
You mean like a returning character?
There's a returning character that's with a new character that got revealed with a very strange devil fruit power.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah, at the very end. At the very end.
We're caught up.
Okay.
We talking about Shanks?
Yeah, good stuff, man. It's a lot of build up. So this arc's gonna be wild, man. I'm ready.
I want to say 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was watching the episode with Dory and Roggy, and I was just thinking to myself, I was like, man, when Usopp is just like, I want to go here someday, and I'll be like, oh, buddy, we're fucking there, dude. Don't worry about it. It's such a good feeling, dude. But yeah, man, I'm just finally excited that we're here. I don't know exactly how long this arc will be, but I really hope that they do give it some love and attention, because I feel like Elbaf was supposed to be the place where it was supposed to be like a hotbed for a lot of plot to move forward, you know? Like there was going to be a lot about Luffy's devil fruit, and like I would even go as far as to say like maybe even the D being revealed, or like a hint as to what it is, you know? So like I'm just really hoping that we get some major update here by the end of this, and hopefully we get to be here for a while. I don't know what Loki's like when he fights, but I'm kind of willing to see if Luffy gets like some crazy ass Joy Boy power where he just like increases to the size of a giant or something like that.
Well, we saw that already.
You can do stuff like that.
Yeah, he did that when he fought Kaido.
I mean, yeah, he did do that. Yeah, he did do that at the end with Kaido, right? When he grabbed the lightning.
Yeah, and he went giant.
He just
Yeah.
he just fucking grabbed Kaido.
Fucking Looney Tuned his ass, freaking using it as a jump rope and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, that shit is silly. Now I think about it. That's great. Can't wait, dude. That fight, this fight, if hopefully with Loki, dude, it's gonna be so sick. And again, even better reason to get to see it animated.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, it's not over. Hopefully, I like the animation. Yeah.
Yeah, that part too.
But with that, guys, we could wrap up this episode for today.
Okay, so my recommendation for this week is going to be an Instagram page called Aladdin Guden. This is by far one of my greatest finds on Instagram, and I'm so glad that I did not reset my algorithm for this. So this page is basically all about recreations from like anime scenes, and it's just like, I want to say somewhere out in the country, I really don't want to be racist, but it's like somewhere in Asia and outside of the country, there's just like a bunch of people doing like recreations of like famous anime scenes.
Oh,
like the one that drew me was
yes.
So you know what I'm talking about exactly. The one that drew me is where they do like the scene right after Thriller Bark with Bartholomew Kuma. And Kuma runs up on everybody, and he's just like, "I'm gonna take Luffy. I'm gonna spare all of your lives, and you get to live." And Zoro's like, "No, I'm not gonna let you do that." And he's like, he does the whole thing with the balloon, with the pop bubble with his pain. And so he basically just recreates that whole scene with a bunch of different people, and I think it's fucking nuts, dude. It's so funny, and it's also so good because they actually try, like you could tell that there's a lot of takes that they made and cuts and edits, and I'm like, this is fucking rad, dude. I've seen him go back as far as like Water 7 and Buggy. Like there are definitely lots of pivotal moments here. They also did a reel with Dragon Ball Z, like where they're fighting Raditz in the beginning, Goku and Piccolo. Goku does that whole thing where he sacrifices himself. There's a lot of good parts, dude. One of my favorite actors is the guy who dresses like Zoro, because he's honestly just like some fat nigga, and I just fucking love it. I was like, these guys need a Patreon, because I would definitely subscribe to them. Some of these costumes are really good too. This guy, they even did the scene in Sabaody with the Celestial Dragons.
Oh, really?
With Zoro and Bon Jovi.
It also reminds me of like how detailed the plays are out there for like Naruto and like a bunch of other like big series. Like just the production, just high quality, and even like this one's like just for shits and giggles, like it's still pretty good.
Yeah, I honestly do like some of the costumes. Like even some of the like I want to say like what would be prosthetics, like the nose that they even do for Usopp. Or I'm looking at a reel where they go as far as like where they're doing the scene with Arlong at Arlong's house. I don't remember what his house was called.
Arlong Park?
Arlong Park, that's what it was called. God, see what I'm talking about? Like, it wasn't even that long ago that I was watching that fucking show, or that I was watching that arc. This is why I feel like I have to take notes.
Yeah, it's pretty good, man. I always love stuff like this, so we'll have the link in the description if you want to check out the page. And so, yeah, we'll go ahead and get out of here, guys. So thank you for listening as always, and we will be back soon.